I am Amber, the dietitian with Hy-Vee, and the fruit and vegetable of the month this month are pomegranates and squash. And let's first talk about pomegranates. How many of you have ever peeled a pomegranate or attempted to get to a pomegranate? So I meant to bring a whole one too, just to show you, but if you haven't ever seen them, they look like this on the outside. They're a little bigger than an apple, and then they have this kind of funky stem. Go ahead and cut the stem off first. Then what you're going to want to do is grab a bowl of water, and underneath the water, you're going to make 4 slits into your pomegranate and break it open. And so when you break it open, you're going to end up with pieces like this. And you can see all those juice-filled sacs with a seed in the middle are there, and that's what you want to eat, and that's what you want out of this kind of tough white stuff. You don't want to eat the white stuff. So if you have a bowl of water, what you'll do is you'll just run your hands and kind of release those seeds from that flesh under the water. What will happen is the seeds will go to the bottom and the white stuff will float to the top. So it's a very handy trick. It's a lot simpler than getting your counter all stained and messy. So doing it underwater is really a great tool. And once you're under there, you can really, pick apart those seeds pretty quickly. It doesn't take long at all. And then once you have the kind of de-seeder, you have the seeds out, those will last in the refrigerator up to a week. So it's good. And then before you cut open your pomegranate, they have a really long shelf life, although they might have already sat at the store for a little while before you bought them, but they have a shelf life of a month. So it's pretty good. Once they start getting bruised and kind of mushy, that's when you know you don't want to pick one heavy for its size. That's how you know you got a good juicy pomegranate. The heavier it is for its size, the better it's going to taste. Also, why we eat pomegranates, they're loaded with antioxidants that just keep our cells healthy. They just, help fight off infection. This is a great time of year to make sure you're eating plenty of antioxidants with all the viruses going around. Just give your immune system that healthy boost that it needs. It really preferably is the 100% pomegranate fresh or 100% pomegranate juice. Keep in mind, because pomegranates are trendy with the health world, you'll find them on everything. So you'll find juice that says it's pomegranate juice, but it's really only, maybe 1% pomegranate juice. So make sure that it clearly tells you what percent is actually pomegranate to get the nutritional benefits. If it's mostly apple juice with a splash of pomegranate, it's really not going to give you the antioxidant benefit that you're after. So pomegranate's great, seasonal. They'll only be around for a couple more weeks, so make sure you get them now because they're going to be gone. Come mid-January, you probably won't find them anywhere. So
where do they come from? Where do they grow?
To be honest, it's a great question. I believe these are from the USA. In fact, these are grown in the USA. I'm not sure. So probably Florida or California. Just not 100% on that one. The ones at Hy-Vee are from the US, which is great. And then squash is our vegetable of the month this month. And squash is interesting because it is higher in starch. So a lot of times for people that are trying to lose weight, I would put it in the starch portion of their plate. So again, half of our plate should be non-starchy vegetables, 1/4 starch, 1/4 protein. But squash is one of those that could kind of go either way, especially depending on what type of squash. So butternut actually has the most sugar content or the most starch. Then acorn squash, which I made the soup with, is kind of in between, and spaghetti squash, which actually tastes, I think, a lot like pasta, or resembles pasta very much so, and it's even kid-friendly, is very low in carbs and very low in calories. So that would be your highest water content, lowest starch content.
That's really good.
Yeah.
The recipe's not on here.
Oh, it is. It's on the back.
Oh, it is? For the
squash. Yep, the acorn squash and the spaghetti squash are on the back of the handout. Yep, there they are. So it's really easy. You just pick you pierce the squash. The spaghetti squash, it's a yellow squash that's oblong in shape. You just take a fork, stab it all the way around, put it in the oven for an hour, cut it in half, and then you just remove the seeds, and then you just take your fork, and those strands will just go. It's a wonderful food to kind of load up on, especially, again, it's kind of seasonal. So, come mid-January, February, it's going to be harder to find squash that's beautiful like it is now. The squash gets to be like this big. Right now, it's this big. So look for it now.
So both types of squash that's digested differently, or just
Actually, all squash is digested a little bit differently than like a carb that would be in wheat or corn. It's actually it's just one of those things that they're not really sure. It's like a synergistic effect of the food. It's not necessarily one thing that's in there that they can extract out and kind of help us lose weight or help us control our blood sugar. It's just squash as a whole today or about anything that's come up that you're wondering about?
The shelf life of the acorn and the spaghetti squash is pretty long.
It is very long. So if you get them now, they're going to last like a month until you do something with them. Once you cook them, then they have about 3 to 5 days. So yeah, just depending on if you. Yes, they're two good foods to buy now because they will keep for a while. Be healthy this holiday season. There's temptations everywhere. I think the biggest thing to be mindful of, well, a couple things. If you deal with leftovers, it's either going to go to waste or to your waste. So pick which is better for you in the long run. And then another thing that if you can kind of tell yourself, nothing tastes as good as good health feels, or some people say nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, whichever saying works best for you. Because in the moment, it's like that's all we can think about is how good that brownie or that cookie or that candy is going to taste or the fudge or whatever it is. But 10 minutes later, then you're kind of like, did I really just need to consume, 250 calories there? I was even hungry. So just be very mindful this holiday season. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy anything, but just be very mindful about the choices you're making. And you're all coming to the best place to kind of work off those extra calories.